The sky over Earth was quiet, but space was not. High above the blue planet, something huge had arrived. A dark ship, 10 times bigger than the International Space Station, moved into orbit. It was cold, smooth, and deadly. This was not a human ship. It belonged to the Thalrex Empire, a powerful alien force that had ruled over hundreds of worlds. The Empire believed humans were weak, unorganized, and not ready for war. They had watched Earth for many years. Now, they had decided, Earth would be taken or destroyed. Inside the command bridge of the alien ship, the Empire's fleet commander stood tall. His name was Varnock, and his face was calm. He wore dark armor that showed his rank. Round him, screens showed the surface of Earth, cities, oceans, satellites, but no warships, no space defense. The humans were open and unprotected, just like the Empire had predicted. A communication channel opened. A deep voice echoed across all human satellites, TV networks, and internet systems. The message was simple. This is Commander Varnock. Of the Thalrex Empire, Earth must surrender in 1 hour. Refuse, and you will be erased. This is not a negotiation, eh? The message played in every country, in every language. People stopped what they were doing, in schools, in shops, in homes. Fear spread faster than fire. The world had seen movies about alien invasions, but this was real. A real threat, a real countdown. Military leaders from different countries tried to contact each other. Panic took over. What could they do? Earth had no united space army, no giant defense fleet. Nothing to fight something like this, but not everyone was afraid. Far beneath the surface of Earth, under an old mountain in a hidden facility, a group of humans were watching the same broadcast. They did not panic. They did not run. They listened. Quietly, one man standing in the center wore a simple black uniform with no symbols. His eyes were sharp, and his voice was calm. "It's time," he said. The room went silent. Then a screen behind him came to life, showed a large control panel, and only 2 words appeared on it. Activate fleet, somewhere on the dark side of the moon. Invisible to all scanners, massive. Shapes began to move. They were long, black, and silent. These were not normal ships. They had no bright colors, no banners, no radio signals. These ships were part of something humans had built in secret. A project born in silence after the last alien encounter almost a century ago. Back then, Earth had lost many lives, but learned one lesson: never be unprepared again. They built something special, a fleet that would never be seen until the moment it was truly needed. A fleet with no name in public records, a fleet known only to a few as the Black Fleet. Inside the Empire ship, Varnock waited. The hour was almost over. Still no reply from Earth. He looked annoyed. "They are cowards," he said to his second in command. "They fear us. They will kneel." But just then, one of the alien officers shouted, "Sir, unknown movement on the far side of the moon. Multiple contacts, but they appear and vanish. Our scanners cannot track them." Varnock frowned. "What do you mean vanish?" The officer looked confused. "Sir, I think they are cloaked." Varnock laughed. Humans with cloaking technology? Impossible. But deep down, something in his stomach turned. It didn't feel right. Suddenly, one of the Empire's outer patrol ships sent an emergency signal. "We are under attack." Known weapon? Then silence. The signal ended. Another ship sent the same signal, then another. Within minutes, 5 of the Empire's patrol crafts had disappeared. No explosion, no debris, just gone. Varnock's ship sensors were blind. He couldn't see who was attacking. And then, from the darkness, a voice came. It was not loud. It was not angry. It was calm, clear, and human. "This is Commander Reese of the Black Fleet. You have issued your ultimatum. Now hear ours. Leave Earth's orbit immediately, or you will not leave at all. This is your only warning." The entire command bridge of the Empire ship froze. Varnock stared at the screen, trying to understand what he had just heard. "Black Fleet," he whispered. That name did not exist in any of their records. These humans? How did they get these ships? How? Had they hidden them all this time? Far below, on Earth, people looked up at the sky, still waiting, still afraid. But in some places, strange signals had stopped. Military radars showed ships vanishing from orbit. Governments received silent messages. Do not speak, not interfere. We are handling it. Commander Reese looked out at the stars from the deck of his ship, a massive black cruiser with no lights. Behind him, dozens of others floated silently ready. He nodded once. They came to scare us, he said. But they forgot one thing. We are not alone. And above Earth, in the cold silence of space, the true war was about to begin. The Thalrex Empire had never been challenged like this before. They were used to silence after an ultimatum. Those planets gave up. Others tried to fight and were quickly destroyed. But Earth was different. Earth said nothing. No surrender. No panic. Only that strange human voice on the channel. Calm, confident, dangerous. This is Commander Reese of the Black Fleet. Leave Earth's orbit, or you will not leave at all. That was not the voice of fear. It was the voice of someone ready for war. Inside the Empire's main battle cruiser, Commander Varnock paced the floor. He didn't like this silence. His officers were tense. Sensors still couldn't detect what had attacked the 5 lost patrol. Ships, no explosion, no wreckage. Just empty space where ships used to be. It made no sense. Empire technology was the best in the galaxy, where scanners could detect ships cloaked with shadow tech, plasma shields, and even quantum dampeners. But they couldn't see these human ships. Varnock slammed his fist on the command table. Send a second wave, he said. 10 ships. Full firepower. I want to flush them out. We will crush this Black Fleet before they start believing their own lies. 10 Empire warships moved into attack formation. They spread out across Earth's orbit, scanning everything, firing warning shots into the darkness. Missiles flew across space. Energy beams lit up the stars, but they were shooting at shadows, at ghosts. The Black Fleet did not respond. Did not run. It simply watched. Then, it struck from the darkness behind Mars' shadow. Something moved. A single black ship, long and sharp like a blade, flew straight into the formation. It moved too fast, too silent. The Empire ships tried to lock on, but their weapons froze. One by one, their systems started failing. Lights went off. Engines stalled. Artificial gravity flickered. It was not a hack. It was something else, older, deeper. Inside the Empire's lead ship, alarms rang out. System failure on decks 4 to 9. Reactor offline. Weapons locked. The crew didn't understand. Then came the final message, flashing in red on every screen. You are being watched. And then the attack began. The Black Fleet did not use lasers or missiles at first. It used precision. It fired small, invisible darts that pierced the outer hulls of the Empire ships. Not to destroy, but to disable. In less than 2 minutes, 6 of the Empire's 10 ships were drifting, powerless. The other 4 turned and tried to escape, but the moment they did, the space around them shifted. Another black ship appeared, then another, and 5 more. They came out of nowhere, as if space itself had given birth to them. 1. Empire pilots screamed. They're inside the sensor. Blind spots. How is that possible? And that was the last message anyone heard. Commander Varnock watched helplessly from the command screen. All 10 ships gone. Not exploded, just removed, erased like chalk from a board. No one had ever done this. To an Empire squadron? Ever back on Earth? Inside the underground control room, Commander Reese stood silently. Around him, officers worked quickly, sending commands, tracking movements. No celebration, no shouting. They were trained for silence. For control, Reese looked at the screen that showed the Empire flagship, still watching. Still waiting, he spoke again on an open frequency. You have now seen the first response. We have not shown you our power, only our precision. Leave Earth's orbit. Final warning. Varnock felt something cold crawl up his spine. He looked at the face of the human commander. There was no fear in his eyes, no anger, only purpose. A deep, calm belief that he was not going to lose. This is impossible, Varnock whispered.
Hey.
They were not supposed to have this. But Earth had it, and Earth was not alone. Far away, deep in space, a small moon that had been hollowed out turned slowly. Inside it, other Black Fleet ships waited. They were not just guarding Earth, they were watching other stars too. The Black Fleet had been growing in secret for decades. No one knew how big it was, not even Earth's own politicians. Only the command, the real command, knew, in the shadows of deep space. Humans had built something the Empire had never expected. Silence with strength. Now, that silence was over. Commander Reese turned off the communication. He looked at his second-in-command and gave a quiet nod. They're testing us, let them. But next time, he said, we don't respond with warning shots. Next time, we erased their flagship, and so the game had changed. Earth had been quiet for too long. The Empire had sent an ultimatum, but Earth had answered, not with words, but with the shadows of the Black Fleet. And out there among the stars, fear finally changed sides. The Empire didn't understand what was happening. Their ships were disappearing without a fight. No fireballs, no wreckage, just silence. Something was hunting them, but they couldn't see it. And that was the most terrifying part. Commander Varnock stood on the bridge of the Thalrex Empire's flagship, his sharp eyes staring at the star map. 10 of his warships had been lost. No survivors, no warning. One moment they were there, the next, gone. The Black Fleet had struck like ghosts in the stars, silent, precise, deadly, and then vanished again. They're not attacking to destroy, said his science officer quietly. They're attacking to send a message. Varnock clenched his jaw. Then we must send one back. He ordered a full scan of the space around Earth. Drones were launched. Probes were sent in every direction, but they didn't return. Something was intercepting them before they could even send data. The humans had built a wall of shadows around their planet, and the Empire didn't know how to break it. In response, Varnock called for reinforcements. Not just more ships, but elite ones. The Hunters. A special Empire squad trained to find and destroy hidden enemies. They arrived 3 hours later. 20 fast attack ships, each equipped with advanced scanners and cloaking breach tech. They were confident. They had faced rebels, pirates, even creatures from the Dark Void. But they had never fought humans before. The Hunters moved into Earth's orbit slowly, carefully. They flew in pairs, scanning every corner of space. First, nothing happened. The sky was empty. The stars calm. To calm then, one by one, the Hunters began to report strange signals. Faint whispers on the edge of their scanners. Echoes of movement. But when they turned toward them, there was nothing. Just empty space. One Hunter ship sent its last message. Contact. Engaging. Then silence. Another tried to turn back. It exploded without warning. No incoming fire. No energy trace. Just gone. Commander Varnock watched in disbelief as red dots on the screen vanished, one after another. It wasn't a battle. It was a silent hunt. And his ships were prey, on the other side of the moon. Hidden behind a cloaking field powered by artificial black holes, the Black Fleet watched. Commander Reese stood inside the control room of the lead ship, watching the enemy move like blind animals. They still think we're playing, he said softly. His second-in-command nodded. Permission to end it? Reese looked at the screen. Only 5 Hunter ships remained. He gave a short nod. From the shadows, 5 Black Fleet ships emerged at once. Black metal, sharp designs, engines so quiet they didn't even hum. They appeared right next to the enemy, too close for reaction. They didn't fire normal weapons. Instead, they used pulse daggers, energy bursts that cut through holes in seconds. Clean, surgical. All 5. Empire ships vanished within 30 seconds. No warning. No time to escape. Back on Earth, people were still afraid. Governments told the public that the threat was being handled. They didn't explain how. Couldn't. Even most world leaders didn't know the truth. Only a secret group inside the old Earth Defense Council knew about the Black Fleet, and they had waited years for this moment. In one of the Council's underground bunkers, a retired general watched the stars on a live feed. He smiled. "You built well, Reese. I told them the day would come. And now it has." In the Empire's flagship, panic was growing. Commander Varnock stared at the empty space where his best soldiers had vanished. He finally spoke the words no one wanted to hear. "We are not the hunters anymore. We are the hunted." He ordered a retreat, but before his ship could move, the lights flickered. One screen lit up. A human face appeared again, calm, cold, focused. "This was your second mistake," Commander Reese said. "There won't be a third." Then the message ended. Varnock's officers looked at him, waiting, but he had no orders, had no plan. The Empire had never lost like this. They were being destroyed by a force they didn't understand, not because it was stronger, but because it was smarter. Above Earth, space was quiet again, but the silence was heavy like something watching. From the dark, and everyone in the Empire Command knew, was not over. It was just the beginning, and far beyond the solar system, in deep space, other fleets began to notice. Other alien races were watching. Some feared the Empire, but now they feared Earth more. They whispered among themselves a name no one had heard in centuries: the Black Fleet, far away from Earth. In a dark prison on the edge of the Empire, a single prisoner sat alone in a cold cell. His hands were chained. His armor, once shining and full of metals, was now rusted and dirty. His name was General Zorak, and once he had been one of the highest-ranking officers in the Thalrex Empire. Now, no one visited him. No one spoke his name. He had warned the Empire about Earth a long time ago, but no one had listened. Years ago. When he was still in power, Zorak had led a survey mission near the human system. Earth was supposed to be weak, unorganized, and simple. Mission: he had seen something strange. He had picked up energy signals near the moon that no other Empire ship could detect. He saw strange shadows in space, patterns that didn't make sense, and he noticed something else: the silence. It wasn't normal, it was planned. He tried to report it. He told the Empire Council that Earth was hiding something, that the humans were not ready for invasion because they were preparing for something worse. But the Council laughed. They called him paranoid, said humans were barely a spacefaring species. What could they possibly build that could scare the Empire? Zorak kept pushing. He spoke too loudly, asked too many questions. Finally, they arrested him, not for betrayal, but for fear-mongering. The Empire hated fear. It made them look weak. So they buried him in a prison where no one could hear his voice again. But now, after years of silence, everything he had warned them about was coming true. On the Empire flagship, Commander Varnock stood in front of a dark screen. He was watching footage of the missing ships again and again, trying to find anything that made sense. "They disappear, like ghosts," he muttered, "like they know every move we make." One of his officers stepped forward. "Sir, we found something strange in the archives. It's an old report from a General Zorak. It mentions cloaked signals near Earth, possible stealth weaponry. Date: 43 cycles ago." Varnock's eyes narrowed. "Bring me everything, all of it." Soon the forgotten file was opened. Pages and pages of old reports, sensor data, energy readings, warnings, all ignored. Varnock's hand shook slightly as he read through them. Zorak had seen the Black Fleet before anyone even knew it existed. "Where is this general now?" he asked. The officer replied, "Still alive. Maximum security prison, Targanin. No visitors allowed. He has been classified as mentally unstable." Varnock stared at the star map again. He didn't believe in ghosts. It's Furness, but something was out there. And if this Zorak had answers, it was time to hear them. Hours later, a ship landed on the cold surface of Targanin. Varnock entered the prison alone, with only one guard. The warden led him down a long hallway made of stone and steel. At the end was a heavy door. Behind it, General Xorak. The door opened with a loud hiss. Inside, Zorak looked up slowly. His eyes were tired, but still sharp. He recognized the man immediately. "Commander Varnak," he said with a small smile. "So, you finally came." Varnak didn't waste time. "You saw them, didn't you? The Black Fleet." Zorak nodded. "Yes, long ago. And I tried to warn them. But the Empire was too proud. They never believed that humans could be dangerous. But pride," he said, "has a cost." Varnak stepped closer. "Tell me how to fight them." Zorak laughed quietly. "Fight them? You don't fight shadows, Commander. You survive them." "They're showing themselves now, and they've already decided you're a threat, and they don't give second warnings." "Why didn't they attack before?" Varnak asked. "Because they didn't need to," Zorak replied. "They waited. They watched. They let the galaxy believe they were weak, and while we all slept, they built an army in the dark." Varnak felt a cold chill in his chest. "What do they want?" Zorak's eyes locked with his. "Nothing." "What makes them dangerous? This isn't a war for land or power. This is a message. Earth is saying, we were quiet, but not blind. We saw everything. And now we're speaking through fire." As Varnak turned to leave, Zorak gave one final warning. "If you want to live, tell the Council to leave Earth. Now. Because the next time the Black Fleet moves, it won't be to warn you. It will be to erase you." Back in space, on the edge of Earth's orbit, the Black Fleet waited in complete silence. No lights, no radio waves, just perfect stillness. Watching, listening, planning the Empire had issued. An ultimatum. But now, they were the ones searching for answers. And deep down, they were beginning to realize it might be too late. The stars above Earth were quiet, but it was the kind of quiet that comes before a storm. The Empire had lost over 15 ships. Their patrols were gone. Their hunters had vanished. And still, no one in the Empire Council believed what was truly happening. They said it was sabotage. They said it was a fluke. They said Earth was still weak. But the men and women aboard the Empire flagship knew better now. They had seen shadows move where no ships should be. They had heard the voice of Commander Reese, and they were afraid. But the Black Fleet was not finished. It had warned. It had defended. No, it was time to strike. In deep space, beyond Pluto. Inside a massive human-built battle platform hidden inside an asteroid, Commander Reese stood with his officers. He was calm, as always. A hologram of the Empire's nearest military outpost floated above the table. It was called Outpost Corin, located on a moon circling a gas giant. It was heavily armed, but far from the Empire's core worlds. It was the perfect place to send a message. Reese gave a simple order. Launch Operation Eclipse. No survivors. Hours later, the stars above Outpost Corin shimmered and changed. Empire officers inside the outpost looked up from their screens. They saw strange shadows on their scanners. At first, they thought it was just asteroid activity. But then the shadows moved closer. Much closer. One officer shouted, "Unidentified ships approaching. 17. No, 20 wait. More." The Black Fleet had arrived. They came in silence. No warning, no transmissions, no lights, just pure black metal moving through space like it belonged there. The Empire outpost activated its defense systems. Cannons turned, fighters launched, missiles armed. But nothing helped. The Black Fleet's first strike was silent, a burst of electromagnetic pulses that shut down every radar. Every cannon, every shield system in under 5 seconds. Then came the second wave, small fighter drones. It's fast and sharp, flying like swarms of insects. They flew into the outpost hangars before they could even close. Inside the hallways, alarms blared, but the systems kept failing. Black Fleet soldiers moved through the corridors, humans in dark armor, quiet, trained for this exact type of mission. They didn't speak, didn't shout. They just cleared the outpost room by room with perfect precision. Back on the command ship, Commander Reese watched everything from a live feed. His face showed no joy, no rage, only focus. This was not revenge. This was strategy. A reminder to the Empire. Earth was not a helpless planet. It was a sleeping lion, and now it was awake. Within 17 minutes, Outpost Corin was gone. Not destroyed, just empty. Every Empire officer either captured or killed. The Empire's flag was taken down. In its place, a message was broadcast. Across the nearest 5-star systems, a simple human voice spoke. We did not start this war, but we will finish it. The message was sent in every known galactic language. Other alien civilizations picked it up. They stared in shock. This was the first time in history that Earth had attacked back, not to defend, but to strike first. And they had done it without warning, without losing a single ship. Across the galaxy, people started whispering the name Black Fleet. Some called it a myth. Others said it was a secret human army built after the last alien invasion. Some believed it was AI, some believed it was magic. But one thing was clear. No one laughed at Earth anymore. In the Empire capital, the Council was finally worried. Reports came in from all over. Their forces were afraid. Morale was falling. Recruitment numbers dropped. Traders began avoiding Empire-controlled space. Fear had spread and it wore a human face. Back on Earth, the people still didn't know the full truth. But there were whispers. Strange lights in the sky, broken satellites. Signals that came and went without explanation. A few military insiders began to leak stories online. The government denied everything, but the world had changed. And deep under Earth's surface, the Black Fleet prepared for more. Commander Reese met with his inner circle. Outpost Corin was just a symbol, he said. The real war is coming. The Empire will hit back hard. Let them. We've waited long enough. One of his officers asked, "Do we go public?" Reese shook his head. Not yet. The galaxy isn't ready. Earth isn't ready. But when they finally come for us with their full force, then we show them everything. Of his command ship at the stars. Each one, a possible enemy, possible threat. But he was not afraid. They thought we were just humans, he said softly. They forgot what humans become when you push us too far. And somewhere in deep space, another Empire fleet was already preparing for a counterattack. Bigger, angrier, desperate. But the Black Fleet was watching, and Earth was no longer silent. Long before the Empire ever sent its ultimatum, Earth had already begun preparing for war. Not because it wanted to conquer, but because it remembered. 100 years ago, Earth had faced an alien attack small compared to the Empire, but deadly enough to leave scars. Cities had burned, millions had died, aliens had vanished. After the attack, leaving no explanation, no message, no reason. Earth was left in silence. But silence turned into resolve. After that, Earth changed. Quietly, secretly. They called it Project Eclipse. Only a few knew it existed. It was not funded by nations, it was built by unity. The brightest scientists, ex-military officers, underground, engineers, AI specialists, all brought together under a hidden council. They understood one thing. Earth might not survive another surprise. So they built something no one would expect. Not a giant fleet, not flashy weapons, but a shadow army. A force that would never be used unless the world was truly in danger. They called it the Black Fleet, hidden inside asteroids. Buried under oceans, parked on the dark side of the moon, the Black Fleet was more than ships. It was a symbol of Earth's will to survive. Every ship was hand-built with a mix of human creativity and alien tech recovered from the First War. They didn't rely on AI alone. Each ship had human pilots strained in silence, taught to disappear, raised with one mission: protect Earth, no matter the cost. Commander Reese was one of the first. He was only a child during the first alien attack. He lost his family in the chaos. He never forgot the sound of the sky tearing open. He never forgot the silence that came after. That silence shaped him. He joined the military young, fought in black operations. Until one day, someone came to him with a question: what if we could make sure it never happens again? Now, years later, he stood as leader of the Black Fleet, watching the galaxy awaken to Earth's secret. But this awakening came with risk. Inside the command ship Shadowfall, Reese sat with his officers in a quiet chamber. A large hologram floated. In front of them, showing the structure of the Black Fleet, over 300 ships, 7 hidden bases, and 5 artificial moons. All still classified. All unknown to the rest of Earth, even to most governments. One of the younger officers asked, "Why didn't we use this power before, when other planets were attacked?" Because that's the power of the Black Fleet. We don't use it to show strength. We use it to show restraint. If the galaxy thinks Earth is weak, they leave us alone. If we act like giants, others will bring giants to our doorstep. Another officer leaned forward, and now Reese said, "We've been forced into the light." He stood and walked toward the large window at the front of the ship. The stars blinked like old memories. The Empire thought we were slow, that we would surrender. But they didn't see the years we spent in silence. They didn't know how we turned pain into preparation. Back on Earth, in secret bunkers, old files were being unlocked. Ancient warnings written in old languages, notes from scientists who had long disappeared, messages saying, "If you are reading this, Earth is in danger. The Black Fleet must rise." Across the solar system, Black Fleet bases began to shift. Ships launched quietly, drones activated. Crews were woken from deep sleep. Earth's true defense network came to life, but with it came a problem. The more Earth revealed its secret, the more attention it drew. Across the stars, other alien civilizations had picked up the broadcasts. Some were afraid, others were curious. And some very old, very powerful were interested, because if Earth could hide a fleet like this for 100 years, what else could it be hiding? The galaxy was changing, in the Empire Council chambers. Chaos had replaced arrogance. The Council screamed at each other. Who let this happen? Who ignored Zorak's warnings? Who underestimated Earth? But it was too late. The truth had broken free. Back on the Shadowfall, Reese opened a personal log. His voice, quiet but clear, filled the room. Black Fleet log. Commander Reese. The secret is out. The Empire has seen our face. This was never about war. This was about warning. Earth did not want to fight, but it will. We trained for 100 years in silence. If we must now speak, we will speak with fire. He ended the log, then turned to his crew. Prepare. The fleet. They're coming. And when they do, we won't just defend Earth. We'll go to their skies. In the blackness of space, the one silent fleet spread its wings. The ships lit up, not with color, but with purpose. The Black Fleet was no longer a secret. Now was a storm. The Thalrex Empire had never been this humiliated. Their warships had vanished. Their outposts were gone. The Black Fleet had struck with silence and vanished like smoke. Across the galaxy, the Empire's power was questioned. Fear was now a human weapon, and it was working. The Council was desperate. They had only one option left. A secret weapon, one that had never been used before. They called it the Sun Killer. It was not just a ship. It was a planet-sized weapon. It's built in secret near a dying star. It's hidden from all eyes, even most of the Empire's own military. It had only one purpose, to destroy entire worlds. The Sun Killer could turn a planet into dust in minutes. The Council had never used it because they never needed to. Until now, Commander Varnak was assigned to lead the mission. He stood inside the control center of the Sun Killer, looking at the massive energy core pulsing like a heartbeat. "This is Earth's end," he said. "Let this be a lesson to the galaxy. No one embarrasses the Empire." The Sun Killer began its journey. Its engines could bend gravity. It moved slowly, but with purpose, heading straight for the solar system. On Earth, early warning satellites picked up the signal. It was like nothing they had ever seen. It's too big to be a ship, too fast to be a moon, Black Fleet sensors confirmed. It's something massive was coming. It wasn't hiding. Inside the Shadowfall, Commander Reese stared at the readings. "They're done playing games," he said. "They want to end us with one shot. His officers looked worried. "Can we stop it?" Reese didn't answer right away. He walked to the front window and looked out at space. Then he spoke calmly. "We don't stop it. We get inside it." All across the solar system, the Black Fleet began to move. It wasn't a defense line. It was an assault formation. Dozens of ships, silent and fast, began preparing for the most dangerous mission of their lives, boarding the Sunkiller from the inside. Meanwhile, Earth's government started preparing bunkers. News was spreading, but slowly. Officials were told to stay quiet. Some leaders argued, some panicked. But none of them had the power to stop what was coming. Only the Black Fleet stood between Earth and complete destruction. As the Sunkiller entered the system, the sky above Mars turned red, its weapons charged with the energy of a small star. Commander Varnock stood ready to fire. "Target Earth," he ordered. "Begin countdown." But before the final order came, the lights on the Sunkiller flickered. Something was wrong. Inside the weapons core chamber, Black Fleet commandos had arrived. They had slipped through blind spots, bypassed defense systems, and entered the ship through maintenance shafts. They moved fast, quiet, surgical, just like they had trained. Their goal: disable the energy core before the weapon could fire. Empire soldiers tried to stop them. The halls of the Sunkiller turned into battlefields. Blaster fire echoed through long metal corridors. Explosions shook the lower decks. The humans kept pushing forward. Back on the Shadowfall, Reese watched every second through live drone feeds. "They'll only get one shot," he said. "If they fail, Earth is gone." Inside the Sunkiller's core, the Black Fleet team reached the central chamber. A glowing sphere floated in the air, pulsing with the power of a dying star. Lead Operative opened a case and removed a device. Small sphere made of black metal and anti-core disruptor. It wouldn't destroy the Sunkiller. It would collapse its core into itself, turning the weapon into a dead shell. They activated the device. Outside, Varnock gave the final command: "Fire." But nothing happened. The control screen went dark. The Sunkiller's weapons shut down. Then the alarm started. Core breach. Systems collapsing. Reactor going cold. Commander Varnock stared in shock. What have they done? Final message appeared on the main screen. Just 3 words. "This is Earth." And then the Sunkiller began to die. Systems failed. Lights faded. Weapons went cold. The massive ship slowed, then stopped. Black Fleet ships surrounded it. They didn't fire. They didn't need to. The Empire had made its final move, and had failed. Commander Varnock sat in silence. He had lost. Not just a battle, not just a weapon, but everything. His name, his pride, his future. He looked out the window at the dark Earth in the distance. "I thought they were animals," he whispered. "But they were hunters." Back on Earth, in the quiet underground command center, Reese received the final confirmation. Sunkiller disabled. All teams safe. Earth still alive. He closed his eyes for a moment. Just one breath, and opened them again. "We're not done," he said. "We speak to the galaxy." And in the silence of space, the world turned once more. Earth had survived. But now, the message had to be sent. The Sunkiller floated lifeless in space, like a dead god. Its massive engines were dark. Its weapons were cold. Around it, the ships of the Black Fleet stood still, silent, sharp, and undefeated. No one in the Empire had ever imagined this moment. Earth had not only survived, it had won. Across the stars, the news spread like wildfire. Empire channels tried to hide it, but the truth leaked. Pirates, traitors, spies, they all passed the same message from system to system. Earth defeated the Empire's greatest weapon. Earth turned the sky black. On Earth, the people still didn't know everything. Most thought the danger had passed quietly. A few leaders had been told the truth. They sat in silence, watching the stars, wondering what Earth had truly become. Inside, the Shadowfall commander Reese stood before his crew. He looked calm, but his voice had weight. "It's time," he said. "They feared us. Let them now understand us." Signal was sent across all known channels. Every major star system, Every moon station, every outpost heard it. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was a message. The screen showed Commander Reese standing in front of the Earth flag. His voice was clear, steady, and slow. No anger, just truth. This is Commander Reese of the Black Fleet. Earth did not seek war. We were silent for a reason. We wanted peace. We wanted time. But when the Empire sent its ultimatum, and they tried to destroy our planet, we chose to stand. He paused. We do not rule, we do not invade, but we do not kneel if you come. In peace, you will be welcomed. If you come in war, you will find only silence and then darkness. Looked into the camera one last time. This is Earth, and we are not alone. The message ended. For a long moment, the galaxy said nothing. Then slowly it reacted. Some worlds cheered. Small planets that had feared the Empire now raised Earth's flag in secret. Underground resistance groups sent coded messages. We are with you. Old enemies of the Empire began to move, sensing weakness. The balance of power had changed, but not everyone celebrated. Inside the Empire's royal chamber, the High Council met in silence. Their empire had cracked not from invasion, but from fear. The Black Fleet had not destroyed their cities or conquered their worlds. It had done something far worse. It had broken their legend, the Council argued. Some wanted revenge, wanted peace, but none of them knew what to do next, because how do you fight shadows? How do you beat an enemy who never needed to shout? Back on Earth, Reese walked through a long hallway under the surface. On the walls were photos of the first Black Fleet members, now old or gone. Engineers, soldiers, scientists, survivors. All of them had built the future quietly. Their silence had saved a planet. He entered a room where a young girl sat, looking at a hologram of the stars. She looked up. Is it over? Reese nodded slowly. For now. She pointed at a star. Will they come again? He looked at the star for a long time. Maybe, but next time we won't wait. And then he said the words written long ago in the founding chamber of the Black Fleet. Let others roar with pride. Prepare in silence. We strike in shadow, and we vanish in peace. He turned to leave. The lights dimmed behind him. The Black Fleet did not celebrate. It simply returned to the dark above Earth. The night sky looked peaceful. People looked at the stars again. Lovers pointed at constellations. Children made wishes. The world had no idea what had passed, or what had been waiting to protect them. The Black Fleet faded back into the shadows. Not as rulers, not as heroes, but as watchers, because Earth had learned something long ago. Hope is good, but preparation saves everything.